Okay, today's planting day. Here are the larch trees that are going to be planted in my landscape. As I take them out of the pots, I'll be putting them in this tub of water to stay moist so the roots don't dry out. As you can see, they're just starting to push. Some more than others. I hope I'm not too late, but I'm doing it anyway. That's my trident maple there. Also starting to leaf out. So those are going in here today. I'm going to take the forms off. They should come right off. But let's get to that. Hello and welcome back to another exciting edition of Steve's Backyard Bonsai. Today I'm going to be taking the forms off of my road and I'm going to be planting up my larch trees. All right, I had to put a lot of hot glue to keep these in place, so I hope I'm not going to have too much trouble separating these. And it looks like they're going to separate pretty easily. But I'm going to have to pry. Let's see if this side comes off any easier. It separates from the cement pretty easily, but here we go. And also, if you remember correctly, I've got these stanchions in place so that I can have a removable rock for when I want to move this thing around. Some tape in here, which was just put there to shield the drainage hole. Let's see if I can just lift this out. I don't want to knock these stanchions over. I have them pretty well positioned in place. Okay, one side of form comes out. Pretty good pour, not perfect. And the other side of the form comes out. These have done their job. Into the trash they go. And I'm just going to vacuum out the debris and I'll be right back. So if you think this looks a little bit like the aqueduct in my landscape challenge, the Central Park, you are 100% correct. This is not as flat and smooth as I had hoped, but it is perfectly fine. And you can see the two pours. The first one that didn't go all the way to the top, and then the second one, and I didn't work it down well enough on the sides. The other side is not quite as bad, so I don't even have to show you that. But I am going to use micro seal, which will seal the concrete and protect it from moisture and rain, and hopefully cracking and spalling over the years. That's my intention. It should soak right in. I'll put a second coat of this on also during the day today, so at some point. But nothing to keep me from planting. Which is the main thrust for today. A little bit of prep work. And I'll be ready to go. This is good stuff. It absolutely does not have an odor. I had used something at one point to seal grout that was very noxious. Probably works better than this, but this probably won't kill me as fast. You can see it soaking in already. Okay, that's enough. All right, I'm going to set this aside for the moment and start taking those larches out of the pots. I'm excited. All right, so this is one of the ones I took out of the pot a few days ago, maybe a week ago, just to look at the roots. It's been outside all winter, and when I looked at it the other day, it didn't seem to have any root activity, but that was the other day, and it's been very hot. So let's see what's going on now. You start raking out from the top, very gently, with my Canishin round-tined ends. Very, very gentle rake. Of course, you've got to use a gentle hand. Unfortunately, I didn't plant this in the pot on center. Maybe I was thinking I was going to put another tree next to it, which was also a stupid idea. But you live and you learn. So, with it having rained over the last couple of days, the soil is not quite as crumbly as I would have hoped, so it's going to be a little bit harder to rake out. I'm going to switch to a chopstick and get some stabbing going. I see a lot of nice roots, but I don't see any white root ends. So those of you who might be worried about this time of year for planting and there's root activity, maybe you gotta wait. But if there's no root activity, I don't think there's any reason that if you're careful, you can't repot it this time of year. If you're planning a project, that's a lot of planning, plus life and stuff you gotta do. I get it. I'm retired. So many of you are still working and doing this. So I totally get it. When I was working, I could only dream on the train. I drew pictures. I figured what I was going to do. Started looking up greenhouses, where to get them, how much they cost. Very, very fun to plan a retirement that you want to be the way you want it to be. And I am very grateful to my wife, who has maybe somewhat reluctantly relinquished me to my little pastoral lifestyle out here, my gentleman farmer lifestyle. Go out and look what I'm seeing. All right, not a perfect radial root base, but certainly some nice flare. Not that a perfect root base matters that much in a group planting, where I've professed I want the best view to be from up above. Surely if you're walking in those woods as your little tiny person, if you're going to do this kind of work, you got to put yourself in that little tiny person's perspective at times. It's fun. Give it a try if you haven't done it, or if you haven't done it since you were 7 years old. Revisit that. Okay, So I'm going to wash these roots. Show them to you. Talk about maybe what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to stick them in that vat of water outside to wait for the root pruning exercise, which should be fun too. All of that's getting done today. It's about 20 minutes to 12. That's coming off right there. See it? That's going to come off. Let me wash these roots. Let them tell me their story. This is reusable. Reusable. I got to find a place to put it. So here's a drone's eye view of the root washing. This is going to be very effective. Going to have to trim a lot of this off, but I think when I'm done, I'm going to have a tree that I like. No white tips. No white tips. These roots are dormant, and the flushing out is just the energy in the tree. This is going out. This is one of those double plantings. And some of these trees have this ring on it. They've never had anything restricting them. I can't even imagine what that is. The tree next to it has one too, right here. If anyone knows what that is, let me know. It looks like a dieback point, doesn't it? But this is obviously not dying back. All right, let's see how far along this one is. This is not one of the ones I opened up the other day, but I'll do it and the rest of them in time lapse. All right, now for the part that I'm not at all comfortable with, and that is the root work. As you can see, some of these have some pretty honking tap roots. Pretty self-contained, but there are roots further up that can be utilized. So first things first, I'm taking the taproot off to here. I'll have the planting depth for something like that. Got these two very low old branches that aren't doing anybody any good. They're coming off. This is very stiff, but it comes back up. I think it's still buried. I'm not going to get rid of that. Here's one coming straight up off of it. Another. You know, once I see good results, I see good results from other people, and that's what keeps me going. Okay, this one is weird any way you look at it. So with that gone, is that my new root base, which makes this root no longer what I want. So it'll come out of the soil on an angle, but then go straight up. Am I okay with that? I can take a little bit more of the taproot off. Yes, I am okay with that. Let me just shorten stuff. Shorten the root ends. Now that can be in a more crowded planting situation. Putting that in water and it's ready to plant. This one. This taproot's not that bad. I can take that one off down to, well, let me see something first. What do I want to take off on the top? A lot. All right, so I'm going to start with this as my base. There's a root coming around on top of that. This one above it. This jumble mess here. Well, certainly this guy. All right, so you see this root right here? I'm going to take everything above that off. This big fat one. This big fat one. I'm going to leave that one down. And this is my root base. So I think I can safely take that much taproot off at this point and still be comfortable. Just shorten these roots so we can crowd them together up there. One going straight up there, another going straight up. Little guys. This is not going to look like a mature forest this year, but I'm going to do my best to make it look like a mature forest within a few years. Best way for you to see that is to subscribe to this channel and get notified when I put out another video. Updates are going to be a big part of it. Okay, this is a small one also. All right, so looking at these roots, I could probably, cranking this around is going to be tough. But let's see what's too high first. This is too high. This is too high. There's a branch stub. Okay, now I'm looking at a fairly good radial root base with some exceptions. Actually, with a lot of exceptions. That could be put down into the soil, as could this one. All right, I'm taking this off. I am going to take that off. There's a root under here that looks good, has a lot of fine tips. Okay, down below, the taproot is short. It ends right here. If I take that off all the way, I'm losing a lot of roots. So I'm not taking the taproot off this tree. It's short. I'm going to take this long piece off. And all of the root hairs that are sticking up. I'm going to try and create a radial root system out of this at some point. Look at the way that just goes straight up. It's not like it hit anything. It just goes straight up. I don't want to take that off though. Yeah, I do want to take it off, but I'm not going to. Take that off instead. Shorten some of these. And this one's ready for planting too. And I'm going to go through the rest of these in the same manner. I'll do it in fast motion. Don't blink or you'll miss all the fun. Okay, here's the lineup as I have it in size order, mostly looking at the trunk width. Some of these I gained significant amount of trunk in this excavation, so I'm going to be exposing more of the tree, which is good. I have a deep pot, and it's going to help with the topography effect that I'm trying to get. So I'm ready to plant these up. When I did my planning at first on that brown paper, I came to the realization that I could take a lot more of the planting up with hardscape and still have a nice amount of space for 10 trees. So I may or may not be going after any of the cuttings that I have hopefully rooted. And I'm just going to start out with the 10, and that's what I'm about to do. So if you're intrigued, stay tuned.